Hi, this is Jason Wheeler, here with Kyle Williams, Ryan Weston, and Lena Vo. Together, we are the Tactical Pack, and we've created Project Mercury. We followed the engineering design cycle, especially in the first stages, when determining what we would do for our project. Our challenge was to design and create a fun computer game that teaches users an engineering concept not normally taught to them in school. We were able to choose from 3 different softwares to create the game: Scratch, Kodu, or GameMaker. We chose to use GameMaker because we knew that it would make the final product look much more professional than either Scratch or Kodu. It also allowed us to change more features than either Scratch or Kodu because we could code in GameMaker. The game must also keep players entertained for 5 minutes, and the user must interact with the game at an average of every 10 seconds. The game is meant to interest the user in a type of engineering. One of our possible game concepts was a bridge building and testing game, in which the user created a bridge that different vehicles drove across. This tested the bridge to ensure it was stable enough all the way across. If it was not, the user would have to go back, determine at what point the bridge broke, and fix it. The other game concept was a target, click, and shoot game. This game would have a cannon shooting at different targets to move up in levels. We also wanted to create a game that would allow people who are colorblind to play the game, and felt both these games would allow us to do that.
We generated the idea of a bridge-building game we named Quake. Following a devastating earthquake, emergency vehicles were needed to cross bridges that had fallen. The player would be tasked with building a stable bridge for supply trucks and cars to cross. We developed the sprites on the screen that are the various material beams, a bridge bolt to connect the beams, and the earthquake symbol to return to the home screen. None of the members of our group had any coding experience, and when faced with the complexity of the physics to apply to Quake, such as the various weights of the materials, the vehicles, strength of the bolts, and the different tensions and compression forces at any angle the players could create, we decided to pursue a more feasible concept given our limited skill with programming. We turned to a projectile motion concept with the classic goal of defending the planet Earth from alien invaders. With the new concept, we quickly drew up the storyboard and figured out how to incorporate a colorblind-friendly alternative to the game. Once we had completed the concept and planned out the sprites and aspects of the game, we reached out to experienced programmers to tutor us on how to effectively code what we had wanted. These included online coding tutorials as well as an NCSU computer science student.
After selecting our approach, we began building a prototype of our game where we wrote the code that allowed our game to function, designed a few levels to test the mechanics of the game, and designed the sprites and backgrounds used in the final draft. Then we began refining our design by squashing those pesky bugs through beta testing and creating our presentation poster. Making this game was not easy, especially for a team with no computer science background. The first brick wall that we hit was during the Explore Possibilities phase. We initially planned on making a game where the player would design a bridge using limited materials and/or budget that would have to support cars driving along. We realized that this concept was far too ambitious for our skill set and devoted our efforts to a projectile motion game instead. We were also challenged by GameMaker's native drag-and-drop programming. These tools, while helpful for some designs, were too primitive for our needs. We then had to learn Java, a language that was new to us entirely. Due to our unfamiliarity with this new language, we were forced to find someone to show us the ropes and enable us with the building blocks to create our game. Here is some gameplay of Project Mercury. As you can see, the ball is shot in the direction of the cursor from the cannon. We included levels that featured the target moving vertically and horizontally as well as stationary. The power of the shot is directly influenced by the distance of the cursor from the cannon. We used walls that the player must circumnavigate in order to reach the target. There is also a system of breakable walls, where the player must hit a differently colored target in order to destroy the corresponding wall and progress through the game. This is where we incorporated the colorblind functionality. The colored targets and walls are replaced with corresponding shapes, so that the player can still determine which walls correspond with which targets. We also included timing as a challenge for the player to overcome as he or she progresses through the game.
After 3 months of brainstorming, designing, programming, and testing, we had the delightful opportunity to showcase our educational computer game to the judges, our peers, and other attendees during the 1 to 3:30 afternoon session of the 2016 Freshman Engineering Design Day. Our space-themed projectile motion game concept received 3rd place out of 10. We credit our successful performance to the integrated colorblind assist mode, the quality graphics, and the game's ability to be enjoyed by all users. If we could turn back time, a major change we would have made was choosing a game concept that would be feasible to program by individuals with no programming experience. We lost valuable time from getting set back with programming errors and limits. To next year's freshmen, we advise you all to start programming or find someone who can help as soon as possible. And for a successful group and group project, we recommend you all to stay connected, engaged, and committed to the project. Also, try to evenly divide their responsibilities out. Here are the citations from our research paper. Other than that, thank you for your time and enjoy FEDD.